Thank you Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. And here we have the star of the show. It is a monster porchetta, and I'm talking about the real deal. Usually I just get pork belly to do porchetta, but not this one. And that's because it comes with a full loin. Yes, my friends, I finally found it. And that is all because of my amazing meat dealer Emilio. If you don't have a meat dealer, you should. Unlike other people, I will share my meat dealer with you. His information always on the description down below. But now let's talk about this wonderful piece of meat. As you can see, it has plenty of fat. And the first thing we need to do is to prepare this so that we can roll it up and make it into an incredible porchetta to dry age. So I first started on the corners. I highly recommend you leaving a little bit frozen. This will make the job a lot easier. What I'm trying to do this is remove 1 inch of meat, but being extremely careful not to cut the skin. That is the trick here. So my recommendation is take your time and go nice and slow, because you don't get a piece of meat like this every day. The last thing I want is to mess it up. Once I removed it, you can clearly see the amount of fat is crazy on this piece of meat. But then it was time to jump into the next side. I did the same exact thing. Going nice and slow is the way to go. Once that was done, I jumped into the loin section. Now here I'm not trying to remove this piece out. What I am doing is trying to separate it from the skin. This will allow me to remove a little bit of the fat. Trust me, I know what you're thinking already. Guga, fat is flavor, and you are right. But there's no way that we're gonna eat this amount of fat. It's just an overwhelming amount, so removing a little bit of it is a good practice. I mean, as I take it out, take a look at it. That's a lot of fat, man. So I kept trimming it until I was happy with the amount out. Once I was done, I also jumped to the other corner and separated it as well. This will allow me to sew it up really nicely, because once I was done, this is what it looks like now. As you can see, I still have a crazy amount of fat left. So removing that amount was a good thing. But now that we got it ready, the next thing to do is to go ahead and get it seasoned. And for this, you have to be very generous. This is a large piece of meat. So I started with a good amount of salt. Maybe a crazy amount. It can handle it. This thing is huge. Once the salt was done, I jumped into black pepper and a wonderful amount of fresh spice mix. This is what makes porchetta really good. And here's how to make it. Into the food processor, I threw in a good amount of garlic. Turned on the food processor and chopped it all up. Then I threw in fresh thyme, followed by rosemary. Processed everything fine and my rub was ready. That is how easy it is to make it. And let me tell you something, this packs a wonderful flavor. The only thing I had to do was to make sure I spread it all over, because the next ingredient is an important one, and we're talking about lemon zest. I said it before and I'll say it once again, this is a large piece of meat, so make sure you go to town on that lemon zest. With this ingredient, the more, the better. And as you're doing so, it also produces an incredible, wonderful flavor, so make sure you add plenty of it. Now since me and my family, we love mortadella, I went ahead and add some. If this is not your thing, just don't add it. But I'll tell you one thing, if you like it, man, go ahead and add some. Because once you have done so, the only thing left to do is to go ahead and roll it into itself. And this requires patience. Going nice and slow is the way to go. To make things easier for me, since I'm doing it by myself, I'm gonna stitch it up. But if you have 2 people holding it for you, you can just use butcher's twine. However, if you do have this needle, you will make it much more secure. As you can see, it makes the job a lot easier to tie it up like this. To secure it even more, I decided to go ahead and trestle it even more. The last thing we want is for this thing to break apart on us. As you know, I'm going to be dry aging this thing, so things better stay put. Once I was done with the tying, this is what it looks like. That right there is a porchetta that is almost ready. Everything is nice and closed up, but there's one thing missing, and that is for us to poke a bunch of holes on it. This is a very important step. Remember, this thing has a lot of fat, and if we don't make these holes, where is it gonna go? The little pockets will help the fat render out, ultimately drying out the skin and making it super crispy. As you can see, once I was done, I added plenty of holes. That is totally necessary because the only thing left to do is to let it dry age in my refrigerator for 1 week. Once the time was up, I took it out and look at it. Not only did it completely change color, but it's also much drier. That is exactly what we're looking for. The drier that skin is, the crispier it's gonna get. Now we have 2 options. We can either cook this in the oven indoors, and as you can see, my oven is not that big, but it still fits. But come on, we have a grill outside, why would I do it indoors? But hey, just in case you don't, you definitely can. For the grill, it's kind of tricky to cook this thing, because you need a nice large container to hold all of the grease. And most importantly, you don't want to let it sit on the grease itself, so I highly recommend throwing a cooling rack on it. because now the only thing left to do is to go ahead and cook it. And here's how this is gonna go down. I'm first gonna be cooking it at 375 degrees Fahrenheit in indirect heat. Once I reach an internal temperature of 175 degrees Fahrenheit, it's time to take it out. So now I say it is enough talking and it is time to cook this thing. So let's do it.
Before moving forward, I want to thank today's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends. Raid has taken over and gaming will never be the same again. Raid is the first game to bring true console level experience to your phone. They set the bar high and there's no going back. Explore millions of champions combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaigns battle, and PvP arena matches. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 500 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your teams, develop champions, and raid your way. As always, Raid is getting bigger and better every single month and it has never been easy to get started. This month, they just released an insane amount of new content and new things to do. First up, they've got 11 amazing new champions, along with almost 200 brand new missions to complete, and an exclusive legendary champion as your reward if you manage to finish them all. Now, if that's not enough, they also added 5 tough new levels to almost every single dungeon in the game. That is an incredible amount of content to add in just 1 month. And here are some of my favorite new champions. This guy, Astralan, is a beast. You can tell that just by looking at him. He also wrecks in the arena, put him with countless licks and it's pretty much game over. And this guy, Roxanne, is one of the most fun champions to play with. He is all about Veil. He hits real hard and nobody can hit him back. Make sure you use my links down below to download Raid to your mobile phone or PC. Thanks Raid for sponsoring this video. I hope to see you guys there so we can play together. But now, let's get right back to it.
Alright everybody, here we have our beautiful feast. Are you hungry, Angel? You need to be hungry. Huh? I mean, take a look at this, everybody. I don't know, that's at least 4 or 5 pounds right there of meat. Can you eat that whole thing?
I mean, I can try.
Here's what I will do is eat a little bit and save a lot for sandwiches, because that's a big meat. So there's something very special about this porchetta. I want to know if you feel anything different and unique from this experiment steak. Look at his face. It's nothing bad, all right?
It's always an experiment.
Yes, of course. We've got to try new things, and I love trying new things. You guys already know. I don't need to tell you that.
Always an experiment. Let's go for the chicharrón.
You want to go for the chicharrón? All right, first the chicharrones, everybody. Cheers.
It's crunchy.
Oh, yeah. Very porky flavor. Huh? Like extra porky, everybody. I don't know if that's a thing or anything, but it's extra porky. What do you think about that chicharrone?
It's crunchy. It's very crunch.
Yes, hugely crunch.
I like the crunch on the chicharrón.
There's the loin right there, and then here's just pork belly by itself. So let's go ahead and give it a try. I'm gonna go for the pork belly first, and then I'll try the loin. One of the things with the loin is always, you know, it's a little bit dry depending on how you cook it. So I'm excited to find out how it's gonna taste. Smells phenomenal. All of the herbs are coming through and everything. Cheers, everybody.
Oh.
That's amazing, everybody. I would say that the flavor has concentrated tremendously on this one here.
This is like pork. Like, this is strong.
It is strong. It's like a porky flavor, boy. Like extra porky. Even though pork has a good amount of flavor, but here is just that flavor has concentrated to the max. It doesn't have any off flavor or anything like that. By the way, I dry aged this, Angel. That's what this experiment is all about. Okay, so we're saying that it's concentrated flavor. That's probably exactly what happened.
I never had that then.
I know, right? It's just a stronger flavor. Unlike beef, that has a complete different profile that, you know, tastes a little bit like blue cheese, or he says wine, other people say other things. This one is just a more like porky flavor. I don't know how else to describe.
Oh, you like pork? Oh, you like pork?
Here in your face.
Pork! Boom! I just tasted the part here with the, what is that? Herb stuffing?
Yeah.
Okay, that is very lemony. I like it.
You like that? Yeah, it has a lot of lemon zest.
Yes.
I want to try the loin to see if the loin lost any moisture and if the loin is dry, or if the loin actually did a good job in dry aging and is still nice and juicy. All right, pork loin this time. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Oh, very lemony. I don't know if you got a part that has, probably that's what I got right now that you were saying before. Super, super lemony.
I want to stay with that like, oh, it is porkier.
Yes. Let's be clear. In a good way.
Yes.
We are saying this in a good way, not in a bad way, okay? It is more porky in a very good way. But
it's tastier.
Yeah.
If you already like pork, this is more.
Yeah.
Like, this is better.
It's not like you added more salt to become more tastier.
No.
Is that the pork is porky, everybody. I don't know how else to say it. Maybe if I would have done it for 35 days or something, man, that would have been extremely, that would be
35 days.
too porky. I think this was a great experiment. I learned a lot. I will definitely doing this for probably, you know, the holidays and things like that. What it will do is we'll have your family members eat a little bit less. So you got a nice big porchetta that has more flavor. And, you know, and then you have more family members try because a little bit of piece is good enough. Anyway, guys, these are the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you are interested in anything I use, everything is always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. You full already?
No, I'm not full. It's just I'm like, good.
You recommend it?
Highly recommend.
Very good.
Very
Especially
tasty.
for sandwich. See you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.